What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to confusing British TV shows. Or as this video title says, Top 10 British TV Shows Americans Will Never Understand. Well, judging from this still image I'm looking at right there, is I don't understand. I am perfectly willing to concede that. I don't know if everything is going to be like a person dressed up as a little gremlin shaking their fists or what, but probably not. I imagine, I don't know if this has to do with British humor and that Americans don't get all the British humor, or if these TV shows don't make sense for another reason just because of other cultural differences. But at any rate, I'm ready and willing to watch and find out about these British TV shows that are just confusing and Americans won't understand them. We'll see. We'll put that to the test.
Some things you either get or you don't. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 British TV shows Americans will never understand.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Where do you want your kiss? Where do you want your kiss?
That's all right. I'll just.
Well,
I'm giving the pound.
got to have a kiss.
I don't have to have a kiss.
Kiss. Ooh.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely mastery of the awkward humor.
Before we begin, we publicly about our latest shows.
But we're getting there.
Number 10, The Great British Sewing Bee. A nail-biting competition to discover Britain's best home sewer, The Great British Sewing Bee has it all. Polite, friendly competitors.
What? I've never heard of this. I've never seen this. I'm gonna be honest, this seems like a show I would like. I think I would like this. I think a lot of Americans would like this. Really, you take like a random sort of mundane specialty or task, like sewing, and you jazz it up. You put it on reality TV and make it funny and interesting, like Extreme Couponers or something, you know? I would like this.
Haberdasheries, and of course, sewing.
These mannequins are excited about being adorned with the trickiest garments yet.
Fronted by Claudia Winkleman and later comedian Joe Lycett, it's an even more wholesome counterpart to the ever-popular Bake Off.
Yeah, the Great British Bake Off, or if that's what it's called. I've heard of something like that. But man, I've never heard of the Great British Sewing Bee. The Great British Spelling Contest. No, that might exist, but this is the Great British Sewing Bee. It's hard to say. This is very random.
Contestants go head-to-head in a series of tricky challenges to make the best clothes they can, putting their amateur talents to the test, with the winners often launching careers in fashion. If the one annual series of Sewing Bee isn't enough, there's usually a celebrity iteration run for children in need. It's great stuff, but without forced drama and a catwalk finale. It's something only Brits seem to appreciate.
Well, they don't show this on American television. I swear if they did, I swear this would be popular. I feel like this is a secret formula to a hit show, just hiding in Britain. Okay, interesting.
Okay, that's it. Finished.
It's the best thing I've ever seen.
Number 9, The Office. It kick-started Ricky Gervais's career and served as the basis for one of the few successful US adaptations of a British show.
I'd say, at one time or another, every bloke in the office is woken up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know, The Office in America is one of the most beloved TV shows ever. The people who love it, love it. It's a cult following. And it feels like, from what I can tell, that's kind of similar in Britain. And with the extra caveat that the British version is the original version, and ours is just a cheap imitation that happened to be a smash hit. Interesting, and like the narrator said, kind of not typical that happens, but I've actually never really watched the British original version. Is that sacrilegious? Is that just horrible to say? So I wonder how they're different, and if they Americanized the American Office. to make it appealing to people in the US. I don't know.
What?
But the very fact there needed to be a US adaptation of The Office proves how fundamentally British it is. After all, there's only one David Brent.
Happy birthday. See you later.
True. The fact that they even made the American version, because they kind of thought they thought a remake would do better than the original version, I guess. Like, we wouldn't get it. So maybe this is the perfect example.
Responsible for popularizing the mockumentary format, comedy owes a lot to The Office, which managed to take one of the dullest settings possible, a paper company office based in Slough, and give us absolutely timeless TV. Even the 2016 film spin-off failed to recapture the magic of the original. Number 8, Midsomer Murders. It's a miracle anybody is left in the county of Midsomer to actually get murdered. Why anybody would choose to live there has been a conundrum viewers have ignored for decades.
I think I get it. Midsomer Murders. Is this is a town or some place where this is all set? Where everyone just gets murdered? And for the sake of the show, for the fun of the show, you don't really ask why people still live there and move there. That's funny. I've never heard of this one either.
I tell you what, though, Tom, whoever did it must have been in a hell of a temper. Probably killed him with the first blow and then just went on bashing.
Yes, George, I saw that.
Adapted from Caroline Graham's Chief Inspector Barnaby books, the show has been killing off characters since the 1990s, and there are very few British actors who haven't been murdered or been a murderer in Midsomer at one point or another.
Really? This has been going on a while? And it's kind of like an honor, a rite of passage to be a British actor or actress and be on the show and get murdered or kill someone? That's that's funny. So this is like kind of a cultural, iconic show in British pop culture, maybe? That's kind of what I'm getting.
Let's hope she holds out.
We don't have much time, Nelson.
We've got it.
The show focuses just as much on rural English life as it does on grisly killings, making it especially foreign to US audiences, who don't seem to appreciate a slice of village life the same way.
Well, I would say that Americans love true crime, documentaries on crime and murder, shows where people are murdered, and that have to do with crime. There's no shortage of that. Americans love it. It's probably the fact that this is set in like a small British town or whatever it may be that is what would turn off most viewers. So that's probably accurate.
All your innermost secrets, your entire life history, and he turned it into a best-selling book. What would you do?
I'd kill him.
Dramatic.
Number 7, Bo Selector. In this sketch show, Lee Francis took a savage stab at popular culture, mocking celebrities on both sides of the pond. While he was famous for taking on Americans Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, and David Blaine,
yeah, these masks just kind of scare me. I don't know. I might find some of this funny or amusing or something, but we don't have anything like this in the United States. We never have had anything popular like this, although we have sketch comedy shows. And maybe this show does not always feature creepy masks, but the masks are so jarring and distracting rather than funny that it's distracting from any humor there might be.
Famous for taking on Americans Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, and David Blaine, his British lampoons got even more specific. His Mel B impression, in which he put on an exaggerated northern accent and promised to reveal the Spice Girls' darkest secrets, was particularly notable, as was his antisocial and
I'm sorry, this scares me. This face here scares me.
aggressive version of Elton John.
Oh, it's Elton John. Oh, geez. I guess the glasses, and the suit? I wouldn't have really known.
Something over the net. You have to deal with the bloody postman.
I hate the bloody postman! I wish he was dead!
And his impersonation of Craig David gained so much notoriety that it actually affected David's career. Bo Selector was bad celebrity impressions at their best.
I mean, if I read correctly, this was like a 2002, 2009 thing, and it really feels that way. Although I still feel like this is almost too surrealist or something. You're absolutely correct. I don't get it.
But too surreal and puerile for some tastes.
I know I do! Proper bow! Can I get a rewind?
Number 6, Blue Peter. The longest running children's TV show in the world remains tricky to categorize, but you won't find a person in the UK who doesn't have fond memories of Blue Peter from one point or another.
Is this a children's cooking show? Or make no mistake, Americans certainly have fond memories of all sorts of children's shows in America, like Barney the Dinosaur and Blue's Clues and the Power Rangers or something. But this is almost like a reality TV playroom thing, which I get, kinda.
Yes! It's famously given rise to recognizable phrases like, "Here's one I made earlier," and now for something completely different, which have been parodied and repeated to death.
3, 2, 1! Go, go, go! Put your really high with your feet! Yeah!
Okay.
The show provides children with entertainment, arts and craft lessons, practical life skills, and of course, the coveted Blue Peter badge. Those lucky...
Blue Peter badge? Well, the show's called Blue Peter. I've definitely never heard of this one. Maybe some of the Brits who are watching this feel some kind of nostalgia towards this children's show. I get it, though. It's just like a fun, like, children's playhouse experiments kind of thing. Certainly not totally crazy that Americans wouldn't get it or even enjoy it.
Enough to nab one, get themselves free entry to thousands of attractions across the UK.
We'd actually like to award you with our highest accolade. It is the gold Blue Peter badge for your Highnesses.
Thank you very much.
That's very
Whoa.
Thank you very, very much.
Wow.
Number 5.
A huge honor.
Taskmaster. While it was Alex Horne's idea, giving the reins to Greg Davies was a masterstroke. An array of 5 celebrities, usually comedians, are chosen as the lineup for every series, where they compete in bizarre tasks set forth by the Taskmaster.
Okay. I kind of like that idea. I think I like the premise of this. Make celebrities and comics do dumb stuff.
Very gritty.
Infamous challenges include having to make an exotic sandwich, having to buy the Taskmaster the best gift, throwing a tea bag into a mug from a distance, among countless others.
Okay. So it's extremely random.
It's recently received an American adaptation, but only time will tell if it becomes as popular in the US as it has in the UK.
I don't think it did. I don't think it did, because I've never heard of it. So there you go.
Always seeing you do cool stuff. I try my best, but it's never good enough.
Number 4, Detectorists. In this comedy series, Toby Jones and Mackenzie Crook tackle the kings of all hobbies, metal detecting.
Oh!
To the soil, have a great day's detecting!
Wandering around and collecting bits of detritus from British countryside, including ring pulls, sweet wrappers, and sometimes ancient pennies, this unassuming double act makes for surprisingly relatable comedy.
Honestly, well, this is reality, right? They're real people doing metal detecting, right? It's not like a show, a scripted show. But yet it's a comedy? So they're metal detecting and it's funny somehow? I was gonna say metal detecting on its own is probably a niche enough weird thing that Americans on the History Channel or something would like it, so.
Somewhat dissatisfied with their lives, the hobbyists turn to detecting, muddling through chilly fields and their day-to-day activities. While Lance struggles with his ex-wife, and he's...
No, this is scripted. Thought this was a reality show for a second. I was like, yeah, that's totally possible. Heck, I'd even watch it, probably. Metal detecting, fun. This is a scripted show with actors, and the premise is that they're metal detectors, and it's funny, and okay.
struggles with his current wife.
It's hard, Auntie. We want it.
Can't feel my legs.
The show most resonates with middle-aged men who metal detect themselves. Suffice to say, Detectorists has a very niche audience.
Yeah.
Guys, can we spread out a bit?
Yeah, now I'm not so sure this would do well. I'm not convinced. Does this do well in Britain? This is very niche. Very, very niche. Although I do recognize one of these actors. I don't know, maybe it's really funny. Could be.
Number 3, The One Show. An evening chat show like no other, it's hard to describe exactly what happens on The One Show every weeknight at 7.
So we understand that you have a bit of a rodent problem at number 10.
Don't talk about the cabinet like that.
It's currently led by Matt Baker and Alex Jones. No, not that one. But in the past has been fronted by Chris Evans and Adrian Chiles.
Ah, yeah, I don't know this show. I'm not familiar with this, but it's, seems like a pretty typical late-night show or variety show. So those are certainly still popular in the United States. I suppose if you want to get technical, this specific British adaptation of this specific show would probably not do great in the United States, but the premise of the show would probably do okay, I imagine.
While it took a while to get going, it's now become a British institution, featuring items about current events, pop culture, and wildlife, with lots of celebrity guests.
Okay.
Nonetheless, the show's mixed tone and odd sound.
It's just funny. He's like a billionaire, right? Getting on that very wiggly glass, shoddy-looking table, but it's okay. He's having fun.
Segues have proved perplexing to many American guests, even as it remains a British favourite.
It makes about as much sense. A good... or
Bruce Willis just does not understand what is going on.
maybe there is a good day to die hard.
Number 2, The League of Gentlemen. A local show for local people, The League of Gentlemen can be hard to understand even if you are from the UK. And that's sort of the point.
Well, I've been having these really bad headaches for about 6 months now, and I just feel there's something wrong.
I'll be the judge of that if you don't mind.
Set in a bizarre rural village like no other, it boasts some of the weirdest and most memorable characters to ever grace British television.
Yeah, but I can see why people would like this. This is, again, very, like, surrealist in a way. Very extreme. British humor and British shows are difficult to quantify. They are an enigma, a beautiful, incredible, impossible to imitate by Americans. It's really fascinating stuff, honestly.
This is comedy at its darkest. Notable subplots include the butcher shop, addictive and mysterious special stuff, incestuous shop owners Edward and Tubbs murdering men who plan to build a new road, and the Dentons with their color-coded towel and toad collection.
Yeah, a lot of this visual humor with the makeup and prosthetics and stuff is so visually extreme that growing up in the United States and not really having that, it's just like too jarring. I get distracted rather than appreciating the comedy of it.
You want him to relax and treat this place just like his own home.
Of course, of course. Take your shoes off.
but their deliveries are genuinely funny, though.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
Don't worry, dear. Me and you will nip through to Narnia, have a snowball fight, get some Turkish delight.
Oh, yes. This is... there's a...
This is like, have I got news for you? Is this about the news? Is this funny news, or... Okay.
Foul and false be thy black heart, but blood red will be thy shroud!
Upstart Crow. Most of these are comedies, because I can tell just from the delivery, because it's all exaggerated and funny.
Dad, it's your line.
Get one of the women to read it.
Neither of the women can read.
Number 1, Celebrity Juice. A panel show that takes toilet humour to a glorious extreme. Keith Lemon's surreal brainchild has been going strong for over a decade. With Holly Willoughby and Fern Cotton as regular team captains, it's won a myriad of awards for its comedy.
Oh, jeez.
Despite this, many of its games are much too risque to ever be shown on US television.
I was just about to say, a show like this I actually appreciate for being like, it's for adults, everyone knows that, it's a little risque, a little pushing the envelope, but that kind of thing would just never in a million years ever be shown in the United States for any reason ever. Even though we're okay with showing other weird shows, like The Bachelor, where people are dating like 30 people at a time. That's like fine, and all the implications that go with that. But we can't have other shows like this. It's kind of random and weird.
In 2018, it sparked controversy when Fred Sirius was tricked into licking someone's bottom.
Oh, there on the box. That's illegal.
Yeah.
Regular games include
Yeah. I'm surprised that's allowed on YouTube in America.
shouting one out, played in toilet stalls, Battle Chips, which involves eating chips out of someone else's nose, and more recently, the Ding-a-ling-a-donga-longa-thon.
Pamela, what?
See, I think this toilet humor, potty humor stuff is kind of funny.
It's not the same if you don't watch.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be...
Okay, that was pretty good. I hadn't heard of any of those. I don't think I knew one. This was by WatchMojo UK. I gotta give that a like. Those were good. As an American, I love the British Office. Yeah, sure you do. I can't bring myself to watch the American version because it can't compare to how good he is. Look at this guy trying to get into the good graces of all the Brits, saying, yeah. Although, probably true. The original version of The Office probably is genuinely better. I've just never watched. Number 8, Midsomer Murders is extremely popular in America. Is it? Could be. I mean, in this day of streaming, when you got 17 different streaming networks that you could choose from, I probably have just never seen Midsomer Murders, like, as an option, so. OMG, I freaking love Midsomer Murders. As an American. Okay, Midsomer Murders. Apparently popular in America. Who knew? I can't be the only American who's a tad insulted by the insinuation that we can't possibly understand polite competition shows. Oh, I'm not insulted by it, and, I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of Americans wouldn't really, maybe understand isn't the right word, but they wouldn't be able to appreciate a lot of this British humor. I do believe that. Midsomer Murders. As an American, I love League of Gentlemen. Okay, so there's a lot of, even as a Brit, I don't understand the one show. Okay. All right, some Americans do love these shows. I really hadn't heard of any of them, but that's okay. It was all new to me. And I think I got a pretty good little taste of what all the shows are about. And several of them, I am convinced, would actually be sleeper smash hit successes in the United States. Seriously. And some of these are genuinely confusing to me. I mean, I think I can understand why, if I really am cold and calculated about it. I think I understand why they're funny, but just something about the American culture or whatever, even though I can see it is meant to be humorous, it doesn't ring humorous with me, which makes sense, you know, cultural differences, all that, makes sense, but I enjoyed this nonetheless. Anyway, if you enjoyed this nonetheless, feel free to leave a comment or give it a like. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Great Britain, the UK, things there, culture there that I've never seen before or experienced before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.